Hi, boys and girls. Have you ever wanted to make chocolate chip cookies? Well, after reading this book, you'll be able to. The World's Greatest Chocolate Chip Cookies, written by Peter Murray and illustrated by Anastasia Mitchell. These are chocolate chips. This is a cookie. The idea is to put them together. You could put the chips on top of the cookie, but they would fall off. You could put the cookie on top of the chips. That wouldn't work either. You could crumble them together and eat them with a spoon, but there must be a better way. The basic chocolate chip cookie theory. Viola. First, you make the cookie dough. Then you mix in the chocolate chips. Then you cook the cookie. Yeah, that means there you go in French. Things you must have to make the world's chocolate chip cookie. Cookies are the things you will be eating, except for the chocolate chips. None of the ingredients taste very good until you mix them together. So don't start eating yet. Here's our list of ingredients. You need 1 stick of very soft butter, which is equal to a half a cup. A half a cup of brown sugar, a quarter cup of white sugar, a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 egg, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of chocolate chips, or a 6-ounce bag, 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of white flour. Now make sure when you begin that you have the right size chocolate chips. Too big, too small, just right. Ta-da! Bowls, spoons, and other stuff. These are the things you will have to clean up later, so don't mess up more than you have to. You need a medium bowl, a large bowl, a small cereal bowl, measuring cup and fork, measuring spoons, rubber spatula, oven, pot holders, spoon, cookie sheet, metal or Teflon spatula. That seems like a lot of things. How to make the world's greatest chocolate chip cookie. Step 1. Set the oven to 375 degrees. The oven has to be really hot before you put in the cookies, so be sure you do this right away. Then by the time you're ready with the cookie dough, the oven will be ready. Step 2. Mix in a large bowl 1/4 cup of white sugar, a half a cup of brown sugar, and that 1 stick of very soft butter. Use the fork for this and mix the sugar with the butter until it's creamy and smooth. The butter has to be really soft. And if your butter's too hard, you could soften it by heating it in a small pan, or if you have a microwave oven, you could put it in there for a few seconds. Don't let the butter melt completely. Just let it get soft. Be careful. There is nothing hotter than hot butter. Now we're ready for step 3. Add a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. If your vanilla bottle is all of a sudden missing or empty, you can skip this part. Probably no one will notice. Step 4, add the egg. Carefully crack the egg into the small cereal bowl first. Then pour it into the large bowl. That way you'll be sure not to get any pieces of eggshell in your cookies. Stir the egg in good so you can't see it anymore. Step 5. Mix in the medium bowl 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of white flour, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of salt. Stir it around a little to mix the dry ingredients together. I hope you're not quite this messy. Step 6. Add the stuff in the medium bowl to the large bowl. Mix it all together using your rubber spatula. And if you can't find the rubber spatula, use a fork or a spoon. The real reason for using the rubber spatula is so you can lick it after you're all done. Although these days we don't really do that because of eggs. Mix the ingredients until you can see the flour anymore. It's getting close to cookie time now. The oven is almost hot. Step 7. Add 1 cup, that's your 6-ounce package of chocolate chips, and mix them in gently. Smile while you're doing it. The mixing of the dough with the chocolate chips is truly a wondrous thing. Warning, do not repeat, do not taste the dough. The dough tastes so good, you would probably eat it all, and you might never get around to baking the cookies. Step 8. Spoon blobs of dough onto the cookie sheet. For regular sized cookies, you make the blobs about the size of a walnut. You can fit about 12 of them onto one cookie sheet. The cookies will spread out as they cook, so be sure to leave some space between them. The blobs of cookie dough are going to look pretty blobby, and they won't be all the same size, and don't worry about it. This will give you your cookies character, and they will taste a little better. You will have enough dough left over for a second pan of cookies if you don't start eating it, and please don't start eating it. A note on cookie size. You can make your cookies bigger or smaller. If you make them big, you won't get as many cookies. But if you make them small, you'll get lots of cookies, but they won't be very big. No one has ever solved this problem. Now we're ready for step 9. Put the cookies in the hot oven for about 12 minutes. There are 2 things you can do while the cookies are baking. You can peek in the oven every 30 seconds. That's a bad idea. Or you can wash the dishes. That's a good idea. There is one very good reason to wash those dishes right away. You won't have to do it later on. There is nothing worse than washing dishes when you could be eating warm cookies. If you do a good job on the dishes, it will take you about 12 minutes. Step 10. Take your cookies out of the oven. Use a pot holder because that cookie sheet will be hot. The cookies should be light brown on top, about the same color as your chocolate chip cookie. You'll know the right color when you see it. If they don't seem to be dark enough, you could put them back in the oven for 2 or 3 minutes. If they are too dark, you might want to turn the oven down to 350 degrees for the next batch of cookies. Fortunately, even overcooked chocolate chip cookies taste pretty good. Warning, let those cookies cool. Wait until you absolutely, positively can't wait another minute. Then let them cool off for another 30 seconds. While you are waiting, you could put the dishes away. Step 11, I think the step you've been waiting for. Eat your cookies. Take a bite. Chew slowly to get the full chocolatey flavor. Have a glass of cold milk. Share them with your family and friends. The real secret of the world's greatest chocolate chip cookies. Now that you've tried them, you know how good the world's greatest chocolate chip cookies really are. Why are they so good? It's simple. You made them yourself. No other cookie will ever be hotter, fresher, or better tasting than the ones you make in your own kitchen. It's a perfect fact. If you get a chance to make chocolate chip cookies, I hope you enjoy them and tell me all about it. I want to hear it. If you don't get to make them, that's okay too. I hope you enjoyed the story.